The Deterministic Chaos is conceptually one of the coolest weapons in the game. Being able to cripple the enemy every 4 bullets, meanwhile making them volatile every 16 is a recipe for destruction. But is it as good as it sounds? That is what we're going to find out today by going over the perks. Then we're going to take a peek at the Chaos's performance in PvE and PvP. Yeah, I'm going to call it the Chaos to reduce the odds of me messing the name up. Let's not delay any longer and jump into a perk breakdown. The Chaos is an exotic void power machine gun with the base perks polygonal rifling, ricochet rounds, and composite stock, with the intrinsic perk heavy metal, making it so while you hold down the trigger, every 4th bullet becomes a heavy projectile that weakens the target, and the exotic trait vexadecimal, so that while you hold down the trigger, every 4th heavy metal projectile or 16th bullet will fire a volatile explosive round. Yeah, it's just an explosion, not actually making them volatile. Could be a bug. To put it simply, you're going to want to hold down the trigger and spread the love. And love is an acronym, of course, for lessening or volatile explosives, because you'll either be lessening the enemy's HP or making them volatile. And I know I'm not supposed to have or in the acronym, but it's the only way to make it work. This weapon might sound confusing, but it really is as simple as it gets. So let me go ahead and super simplify it. While holding down the trigger, your 4th bullet will weaken the enemy, and your 16th shot will be a volatile round. So if you shoot 3 bullets, stop, and start shooting again, your count will restart, so you have to fire 4 more shots to weaken. It's the same way with the volatile shot. And if you're curious if the ricochet rounds will still have their retrospective buffs, it will. It may sound like a pain in the to track, but luckily on the crosshair right here, and while scoping down, you'll have these small circles to help you track your shots when needed. Now that you know everything about the Chaos's perks and abilities, let's see how it performs in PvP. Oh, and stick around to the end for a possible catalyst leak that would make this weapon insane. Even with their buffs, machine guns are still not getting used nearly as much as rocket launchers or the recently nerfed linears. But is this going to be the resurrection of LMGs? Well, it depends. Currently, it ranks 3 out of usage for machine guns, behind the Xenophage and the Retrofit Escapade, which are both without a doubt better damaging weapons. The Xenophage's boss damage is unmatched, and being able to craft the Retrofit will help you pick the perks most helpful in your situation. And the Chaos doesn't have insane damage or customizable perks, so why use it? The main reason you're going to be using this Chaos is to weaken the target. A 15% debuff against any enemy is amazing, because anytime you can make a boss easier is enough reason to give it a shot. And you're probably thinking, it's like Divinity if Divinity was slightly more worthless with no crit bubble and made louder noises. And you would be surprised. These two are practically cousins. But this is the one at the party making sure everyone knows they're cousins, while Divinity is trying really hard to make sure people know they are third cousins. Alright, look, sorry I'm being a bully. Let's look at the positives of Chaos. First, it'll do decent damage. Not amazing, but enough to clear ads when needed and throw some decent boss damage forward. If that boss's crit is easy to hit, it's going to be the better choice over Divinity because of reason number 1. Second, you will have your energy slot open, which for some builds can be very important. Third, still a strong lasting debuff. Sure, it's the same debuff you can get with the Void Grenade, but those will expire after 5 seconds and 15% more damage is no joke. With this constant bullet hose, you are good to go for a long while until you have to reload. Lastly, it'll allow for some pretty good void build combos. Titans can throw on War Rig and Controlled Demolition to spread volatile rounds across the whole map for a while without reload. I do think this weapon's getting unnecessary hate for the low damage, so hopefully people can utilize the weak and take full advantage of it. Now let us chit chat about its performance in PvP. It does exactly what all machine guns do in PvP, a fine job. Not call your grandma and confess your newly found love good, and not tell everyone who uses it in PvP that they're throwing bad, but a very middle of the pack job. Hey, but at least it's better than Xenophage and something. I really hate that there's nothing for me to say about it, so go ahead and enjoy this picture of my cat. Oh, and if you're curious about that catalyst I was talking about earlier, with the leaks that we're seeing, it might be getting 4th times the charm, which would make it an easy contender for your power slot, refunding 2 shots every 4. All in all, the Deterministic Chaos is one of a kind, with its ability to debuff constantly and dump out reliable damage, and it's obtainable solo, unlike someone. That's why it gets a 4 out of 5 in PvE. And for PvP, it's no Guardian Slayer, but it's consistent, and for that, it'll get a 3 out of 5. See ya!